Hello everyone. Welcome back to Adventure Recaps. Today I'm going to explain a science fiction, action and fantasy movie called Freaks Out. The year 1943 is shown at the start of the film. A man named Israel comes on the scene at the beginning. He was informing the gathered people there about his circus. He tells that our circus is not an ordinary circus. Our circus all members will entertain all of you with their powers, not with their actions. Must visit to view our circus. Later, their circus activities are shown. First of all, their first member is witnessed there. He was a boy who held a power as he could hold sway on any insect. He was entertaining the people while controlling the fireflies. Spectators were astonishing, viewing this. Then their circus second member, who was a boy, having the magnetic power. He could stick any iron item with his body. After this, third member appears whose body was completely hairy, and he used to look like a monkey. But he had more power than common humans. He had a power as he could mold the most solid iron easily. In the end, there comes a girl who had power of electricity. She could produce electricity from her body. She was entertaining the spectators while switching on the bulb with the power of her body. All were so shocked, viewing their circus, as each of them had a unique power. After this, their circus show is over. Then war breaks out there all of a sudden. All arrived spectators of the circus are killed. This time World War II has been shown. Now their circus performance was incredible. Israel and his team had come to another city, where Israel was telling his other members, I have talked with some of the people who will take us to America with low amount of money. And this city has already the circus and we cannot compete them more. But all other people were feeling confusion while taking this decision. They had a fear as their all earned money may not end. But all members are convinced because of their group female member. Next day, Israel collects money from all and goes to take the tickets of America. And he promises to all before departing, that he will return back before the evening. Now that girl who had the power of electricity, whose name was Malchild, she had so worried because the night had fallen. When she was worried, then the same man with long hair comes to her. He tells that he was a disguiser who has fled, grabbing our money. He will never come back now, but Matilda had no belief in this. She was still thinking as Israel will surely come back. Later, a man is shown there who had caught another man there. And he had kept his head in the glass filled with water. Then that man's sibling comes there who tells him there, this man has such powers that he can place his head in the water for many hours. But what is this? That man had died after a few hours. That man's sibling named Franz, who had captured this man, he says, you are for nothing. You killed an innocent people. Next morning, I will send you far from this city. But Franz was convincing his brother. His brother agrees for a few days. Actually, he had also a dream to be sergeant like his brother. And he may serve for the Hitler. When Doctor observed 6 fingers of his hand, they began to make fun of him. As a result, he even did not get the post of soldier. At the same time, he decided that he will search for such people, who have some rare powers. And he will give those people to the Hitler, so that he may get victory in the war. In this way, Hitler becomes happy on this, and he will hire him as a sergeant. There is also revealed here with this, Franz had also such powers that he could forecast. On the other side, Matilda and her group are seen who was leaving from there. They observe that Hitler's soldiers were sending some people in the truck who were Jews. Rest of the people become afraid, observing this, and they begin to flee. Then some soldiers capture the other people, leaving Matilda. They were thinking as Matilda is not Jew. Matilda is gone upset, seeing this. Their circus other members who had been caught by the soldiers, they use their powers there and escape from there. They encounter Matilda on the way. The hairy man says to all, we will have to show the performance in circus here. We can struggle. Matilda says on this, we should wait for Israel here. He may have caught by the soldiers. But no one cares the words of Matilda there. 3 of them move away. They had left Matilda alone. 2 soldiers arrive there as Matilda is sitting alone at night. And they were attempting to seize her. A soldier receives an electric shock as he touches Matilda. So his hand was burnt. Seeing this, both soldiers were so frightened. Matilda escapes from there, taking the advantage of this. But she was so scared because of this incident. And her whole body is brightened like the electricity. So she had lost her consciousness there. Next day, the Jews who were hidden in the forest, they discover Matilda there and they think to carry him to the camp. As a man touches her there, he also receives a strong electric shock. All were astonished, witnessing this. Then a man there who had worn the gloves. He lifts Matilda and takes her to the camp. After this, the other group members of Matilda are shown, who had reached the circus show. Reaching there, they all stand with the other members of the circus. Now the same man, Franz, had come there who had kept a man in the glass filled with water. He chooses the dwarf and the hairy man, coming there. Witnessing this, that man had become so furious. Who had this power that he could control the insects. Then he calls all those cockroaches in fury. And he makes a sign. Seeing this, Franz gets so excited. And he also selects him. On the other side, Matilda is seen, who had restored her senses. She finds herself in a camp there. The captain of the camp was asking the questions to Matilda. Who are you? From where did you come? From where did you get the power of electric shock? Will you help us through this power? She replies, hearing the words of that man, I don't misuse my power. I never killed anyone, using my power. Hearing this, that leader had lost his temper. Then a sight of those circus members is shown, they were being tortured awkwardly. In order to know as they possess the powers or not. On the other side, Matilda and other people witness the soldiers again, who were leaving, making the Jews captive. Meanwhile, Matilda witnesses Israel in the same truck and calls him. But Israel says to her, Matilda, move away. In spite of this, she does not hear and she was getting in the truck. Doing so, all soldiers witness her. Matilda had been caught by the soldiers. She says, I am also Jew. Take me with you. Hearing this, one of the soldiers was going to fire his gun at her. Then one female camp member arrives there who was diverting the attention of soldiers there. Some camp members kill the soldiers, arriving there. Israel's truck driver had escaped, driving the truck. Israel, who was captive there. He could not jump from the truck. Matilda is again left alone. When she returns to the camp again, then camp's captain asks her, why did you not demonstrate your powers before soldiers? Matilda does not reply him on this. On this, that captain beats her violently. Matilda tells, my mother met her end because of my powers. And I don't want that anyone may die because of my powers. Hearing this, all were gone sad. Matilda begins to weep bitterly there. Later, Franz is seen. He was taking the drug through which he begins to visualize the future. He visualizes a playing video in the mobile phone. He watches in this that Nazi will get defeat in this war. Due to this, he is frustrated. Then he also watches Matilda and other people. He had understood, watching them. These are the same people who possess the powers. I waited for them. Then he draws a sketch of them quickly. Next day, Matilda is seen who had come to the circus in search of her group members. Soldiers suspect her and she begins to run from there. She enters Franz's room while running. He makes her unconscious there and switches on a bulb while touching it with her lips. In order to detect this as she is the same girl, having electric shock power. Now she had believed that she is the same girl when bulb is switched on. Now the circus show is arranged at night. Then, Franz tells all that I am going to present such people before you, that the war may be won while using their powers. Saying this, he brings all of three to a cage. They were Matilda's group members while she was in another cage. Seeing her, Hairy Man, Joker and the person with insect controlling power get excited. But a lion is entered in the cage of Matilda. Franz was instructing her to kill this lion, giving it an electric shock, so that the people may know about your powers. Hearing this, Matilda becomes so confused. And the lion was also roaring loudly there. Then, Matilda spreads her hand before it to give the lion an electric shock. At the same time, that lion had started to play with Matilda there. Watching this, all people begin to laugh at this. While Franz was becoming so furious. In the meantime, he points his gun at her other group members. He says, demonstrate your powers soon otherwise I will kill all of them. But Franz is slipped there. As a result, he becomes the laughingstock among the spectators. Franz leaves away in anger, and he orders his assistant, kill Matilda, and all members with her. After this, Matilda and her group members are locked in a room. A gas stove had been turned on there and it was creating much fire. They try to escape from that place but of no use. Now, Matilda utilizes her powers here and she explodes the door. They all had released with this. Franz had also bruised because of that explosion. They all run out of the circus. They notice a cannon there. Matilda and a boy goes into the cannon. When they are fired, then they both fall, reaching at a distance. After this, the Joker is also thrown away through the cannon. Soldiers had approached there when the hairy man's turn comes. He alone combats with them. Then a lady arrives there with some horses. This lady looked like him. He reached Matilda and other members while riding on one of the horses. After this, Franz is shown to whom his brother had come. He says, "Franz, that's enough. I will not let you stay more in this city now." Franz had become so aggressive on him and he assaults his brother. And he strangles his brother to death. Later, he puts on his brother's dress and cuts his sixth finger. And he comes outside, disguising Sergeant. After it, Matilda and other people come on the scene. They had come near a train in which Israel and Josh were being sent out of the city. They all fall into the train box of the soldiers as they jump on the train. But that boy hangs outside who had the power of controlling the insects. He observes some bees outside. When soldiers were going to kill Matilda and other members inside, then that boy makes an attack of those bees on those soldiers, controlling all bees. Then they all come on the train. Franz was also waiting for this train with his wife. Now they begin to search for Israel, and they discover him in one of the train passenger boxes. Seeing him, all had become so happy. Meanwhile, Franz's soldiers attack all of them. Now, Franz had also come to Matilda. He asks Matilda to accompany him. She forbids him. When Matilda is being taken by them, then she kills them while giving him electric shock. Then all Jewish members of that camp begin to fight with those soldiers coming there. In this way, there was going on the counter-firing from the both side. Israel also receives a gunshot because of this attack. And he dies before the eyes of Matilda. She had drowned into grief, seeing him. The same boy witness in this train that it has been ignited. Where many people were entrapped. He sacrificed all bees. He sticks all the bees on the train and rescues all the people. Franz and his soldiers were winning here. When Matilda notices this, then she releases all powers from her body. Much fire was releasing from her body. And all the soldiers are died, becoming the victim of this fire. Somehow, Franz is rescued. But he fires his gun at him before Matilda when he observes his dead wife. And he has died. Now all other group members of Matilda come to her. Matilda was very satisfied seeing them. Then, Matilda and her group members set out for their next mission. And the movie completes on this scene. Subscribe the Adventure Recaps for more content like this, and also leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time. Thanks for watching.